The morning has just begun to unfold, not rushed, not loud, but quietly, with a kind of reverence that only the mountains know. The sky above Whistler is brushed with the faintest shades of rose and gold. Autumn has wrapped the forest in amber and copper, each tree a quiet flame. And through this soft, glowing hush, your train begins to move. It hums gently beneath you, a low and steady rhythm, like breath, like the earth turning over in its sleep. You're leaving the alpine town of Whistler behind now, gliding slowly past pine-covered hills, still dusted with morning mist. The leaves rustle faintly outside the windows, a whisper carried through cool mountain air. The train curves around a bend, and suddenly the world opens wide. To your left, the pale silken waters of Howe Sound glimmer in the early light. It's not loud here, no waves, no rush, just a stillness that cradles the hills in reflection. Jagged ridgelines draped in trees lean into the water, mirrored perfectly below. A heron stands at the edge of the inlet, motionless, as if time itself has paused. The sun has begun to rise fully now, soft gold filtering through branches, catching on drifting leaves, warming the frost that clings to tall grasses by the tracks. Every shadow stretches long across the land, as if even the trees are still waking. You pass a stretch of forest so thick, the light dims for a moment. The moss glows green underfoot, and the trunks of towering cedars and Douglas firs stand like ancient watchers, guarding something old and sacred. This is Cheakamus Canyon, a deep, winding cut in the mountainside where the river runs far below, curling like ribbon between walls of stone. The train moves slower here, not from caution, but from respect. The canyon is steep, its sides lined with lichen-covered rock and golden-leaved cottonwoods clinging defiantly to the edge. The air feels closer here, cooler, more alive. You can almost taste the river as it moves beneath you, clear and cold, and full of quiet power. A raven calls overhead, just once. A low sound, carried on the wind, then gone. Let that be your only distraction. Let the stillness return to you. As the train leaves the canyon, the trees thin slightly, revealing pockets of open ground where mist hangs low over frost-dusted grass. Deer stand at the edge of one clearing, their shapes just visible through the drifting fog. They don't move, they only watch, and then they disappear into the brush. The light continues to rise, soft oranges fading into silver, then palest blue. Your thoughts, like the train, do not rush. They move forward, but without effort, without force. The Lillooet River comes into view, winding along the base of the hills, its surface glittering now with threads of sunlight. The water moves with gentle certainty, cutting through stone and time alike. Small stones line the bank, rounded smooth by years of flow, a memory of glaciers, of mountains breathing ice. A flock of birds lifts suddenly from the trees ahead, swooping in slow motion across the sky. They twist and scatter, then reform, a single living shape carried gently into the morning. You close your eyes for a moment, not to sleep, just to listen, to the faint sound of the wheels on the rails, to the wind brushing the side of the train, to the breath that rises and falls, steady as the land unfolding around you. Let your thoughts become wide and soft. Let them stretch out, like mist over water, like light through trees, like silence without end. Outside, the forest deepens again. Burnished copper leaves swirl along the track, dancing in the wake of your passing. This part of the world is not hurried. It changes in whispers, in light, in the quiet turn of seasons. And you now are part of it. The train passes beneath a wooden trestle bridge, its shadow stretching like a fingerprint across the forest floor. A moment later, you emerge into open air again, with the mountain peaks rising once more in the distance, still laced with early snow that glows blue in the shade. This is the edge of the Pemberton Valley, a wide expanse of farmland and forest held between mountain spines and watched by silent cliffs. The valley opens around you, soft with light, dotted with old barns, apple trees, and the golden rustle of tall grass in the wind. Far off, a small herd of horses grazes in the shadow of the hills, tails flicking lazily, peaceful in the glow of the waking day. And the train moves on, always gently, always forward. You feel it like breath beneath you, like a current, like something ancient and kind. The light is full now, but not sharp. It wraps the world in quiet promise, a day that has begun, but has not demanded anything of you. You are carried, you are held, you are exactly where you need to be. The valley slowly narrows, not abruptly, just enough that you feel the land beginning to lean in, as if the hills are folding closer around you like hands around a flame. The train hums along the edge of the Fraser River now, a constant companion, twisting through rock and brush, its waters dark and swift beneath the morning light. Sunlight glints off its surface, scattered in soft silver sparks that drift with the current and disappear into shadow. The land here is older, less tamed. The trees grow farther apart. The rocks come closer to the tracks. You feel them watching, but not with menace, just with knowing. Outside your window, the color deepens. Greens darken into fur, yellows sharpen into gold, and the river becomes a mirror for the sky above, cloudless, high, endlessly pale. You pass through a stretch of copper birch trees, their leaves catching the light like coins in the breeze. They shimmer as the train moves past, a slow, rustling dance that seems to follow your rhythm without turning your head. The train moves on, steady and quiet, like a thread weaving through a great open tapestry. A hawk drifts overhead, its wings outstretched, carving lazy spirals into the air above the river. You follow its shadow as it moves across the canyon wall, a slow, flickering shape on the glowing stone. Below, the Fraser River widens briefly, then narrows again between steep walls. The color changes from gray to blue, from blue to deep green. It is always becoming. Just like you. You pass a narrow path cut into the canyon side, just wide enough for footfall, half overgrown with grass and moss. An old trail, a memory of someone else's journey. Let it pass. Let it stay behind. You are on a different path now. The morning has brightened fully. The sun is warm on your face, but the breeze that brushes past the train still carries the scent of damp stone and fallen leaves. There's a feeling here, a quiet tension between wilderness and stillness. It holds you gently. The trees grow taller again. Pines, cedars. Each one leaning into the light, their tips sharp against the sky. You pass a cluster of golden larches, each leaf a tiny flame. They seem to glow from within. You close your eyes and see the light behind your eyelids, a golden wash, soft and constant. Let it settle into your chest. Let it move through you like the breath of the mountains themselves. When you open them again, the world has changed again, more open, more vast. Ahead, the land flattens slightly into a wide stretch of scrub and gravel dotted with dry brush and short trees. You're entering the approach to Lillooet now, though the train doesn't stop. It only drifts past, honoring the land with silence. Steep cliffs rise in the distance, their sides layered with time and iron, folds of rust and black and faded white pressing upward like pages turned by wind. To your right, the Fraser River glows again, not loud, not fast, just steady, like breath, like knowing, like you pass a clearing where the ground is covered in yellow grass and broken stone. A single raven sits atop a dead branch, watching as you pass. Then, in one smooth motion, it lifts and is gone. Let it take your worries with it. Let them fall behind you like leaves let go by the wind. The land begins to curve upward again, rising softly into ridges and shelves draped in forest. The sun catches the edge of the canyon wall and casts long, dramatic shadows that stretch across the track like arms. But the train moves through them, always forward, always gently. You feel the shift, not in speed, but in presence. You are deeper now, farther, softer. Let yourself rest in that. No need to think, no need to name. Just listen, just breathe. The river bends again. The forest holds its breath, and the train moves on, silent, certain, surrounded by gold. Each moment now feels like it's unfolding at the perfect pace, unhurried, unfolding like breath. You glide past low bluffs where small shrubs grow in clumps, survivors clinging to stone, their branches twisted by wind and time. The river is never far, sometimes beside you, sometimes below you, always moving. Its voice is soft but steady, a hush that speaks of long journeys and deep patience. Let that be your rhythm now. Let the water carry your thoughts. Let it take what you don't need and leave only calm behind. The hills rise sharply now. You begin to enter the outer edges of the Lillooet Range, rugged stone walls that catch the light like fire. Their slopes are streaked with ochre and ash, bare in places where nothing grows, bold and beautiful in their stillness. You round a bend and pass a rocky ledge where a small pine tree grows out of the stone, its roots wrapped tight into the cracks. It stands alone against the wind, defiant and calm. You watch it disappear behind you. The land stretches wide now, no longer pressed in by canyon walls, no longer carved in stone. It breathes. It opens. It lets the light in. The train glides forward like a thought moving without effort, slow, sure, soft. You've left the Fraser Canyon behind, left the steep rock faces and the thunder of rushing water. Now, the river drifts more quietly. It curves gently through the hills, its color softening from slate gray to cool silver. The Cariboo Plateau begins to reveal itself. Rolling highlands, scattered pine, earth faded golden by the long light of morning. The trees are farther apart here, giving space to the sun. You see the shadows of each branch stretch out across the ground, long, delicate shapes that sway just slightly in the breeze. Let your breath do the same, long and gentle, in, out, like a wave that knows its shore. Outside your window, the forest changes, not dramatically, not all at once, but like the quiet turn of a page. The evergreens grow taller, but less dense. The Cariboo Mountains begin to rise in the distance now, not jagged, not sharp, but vast, layered in pale blues and whites, their peaks softened by early snow and thin cloud. They look like dreams stacked gently on the horizon. Let them be your horizon now. Let them hold your gaze without asking anything from you. The train moves slower here. Or maybe time does. Maybe everything breathes a little more deeply in a place like this. You pass through a corridor of trees, tall spruce lining both sides of the track, their trunks straight as pillars, their needles tipped in frost. The sun filters through in golden slants, casting your window in soft, shifting lines of light. For a moment, it feels like you are inside the breath of the forest, a space between sound and silence. And then it opens again. To your right, a shallow lake mirrors the sky, its surface smooth, its edges rimmed with reeds and polished stones. You see the clouds reflected there, soft white cotton drifting across soft blue. A flock of ducks cuts across the water, leaving long trails behind them like thoughts you finally released. You let them go. The air feels lighter here, cool, clean, tinged with the scent of pine and earth and wind. You pass an old cabin in the trees, its roof sagging, its windows empty, but its porch still holding on. Someone once watched the world from there. Someone once waited for morning. Now it waits only for the wind and for your gaze, soft as it is. You leave it behind without touching it, just like the land leaves behind the last of the shadows. The sun is higher now, Not hot but full, it catches on the rails ahead of you, flashing bright, then fading as you round another bend. A field opens to your left, wide and golden, with dry grass up to your knees. A few black cows graze near the far fence, tails flicking slowly, heads bowed. Everything here moves in its own time, and so do you. The train hums gently, no rush, no resistance, just motion, just music. The hills ahead grow greener, pine-covered ridges with soft slopes, the kind you could imagine walking for hours without ever needing to turn back. Birds circle overhead, small black shapes against a sky so clear it feels like you could see all the way to tomorrow. Let yourself be that weightless. Let yourself drift there too. You pass another stream, this one running faster, its surface broken with stones and sparkle. You watch it flicker, then vanish beneath a small wooden bridge overgrown with moss. No signs, no names, just presence, just peace. The forest thickens again briefly, and in that dim, filtered light you feel something return. A memory of where you've been, a sense of where you're going. It's not loud. It doesn't ask anything of you. It just moves with you, as the train does, as your breath does. And then the trees part once more, and the world expands around you. A soft, wide horizon, brushed with the pale outlines of the mountains, dusted with autumn gold. And ahead, the path continues, steady, sure, and full of hush. Gaps open between them where sunlight pools in wide golden circles. Here and there, a single birch stands among the pines, its white bark peeling like paper, its yellow leaves trembling in the wind. You pass a narrow creek lined with willows and cattails, its water so still you can see the sky reflected in its surface. A sky so clear, so endless, it feels like you could fall into it and drift forever. Let your thoughts do just that. Let them rise. Let them dissolve. The train curves gently through a shallow valley where the land feels ancient and untouched. Golden grass sways in long waves, dotted with low shrubs and the occasional splash of red or orange leaves still clinging to autumn. You pass a wide glade where a group of deer stand beneath a stand of pines. They don't run. They don't even lift their heads. They simply watch, blinking slowly as you pass. The quiet between you is perfect. And then it's gone, lost behind the bend. The world has widened, quietly, completely. You hardly notice the moment it happened. One breath, then another. And suddenly there was space, not just around you, but within you. The train now glides into the edge of the Chilcotin Plateau, a land so open, so hushed, it feels like standing inside the pause between two heartbeats. The pine forests behind you have softened, broken now by long, gentle slopes of golden grass and scattered brush. The air is still cool but lighter. The sun hangs high, casting everything in pale honey, soft shadows lying long across the earth. You pass a wide field dotted with sage and dry thistle, the grass moving like waves in the low afternoon wind. It's the kind of place that feels like it remembers everything. You don't need to know its stories, just that they're here, in the soil, in the breeze, in the silence. A hawk circles above, its wings still as it rides the air. Below it, nothing stirs. Even the grass seems to hold its breath. Let yourself do the same. Let the stillness settle inside you, like dust on water, like sleep on skin. The train hums along a low ridge where the ground falls away gently to the west, revealing a patchwork of yellow pasture, dark green scrub, and pale rocky outcrops that rise like islands in the light. In the distance, low ridge lines ripple across the horizon, blue and gray and faintly purple, each one a little softer than the last. They look like thoughts you've already let go, peaceful, faded, far away. You follow the line of a narrow creek now, its path marked only by the trees that follow it. Aspens, birch, a few crooked pines, their leaves rustling in gold as the wind brushes through them. The water itself is barely visible, just a glint here, a shimmer there, like something half remembered. Let your thoughts flow with it, no resistance, no destination, just the soft sound of motion under the hush. You pass a rocky bluff where the earth rises in jagged steps, and the colors shift from soft brown to burnt red to slate gray. A few trees grow there, roots twisted deep into the cracks. Their branches reach upward, not in desperation, but in quiet certainty. They've weathered everything, and so will you. The land opens again. You pass through a long valley where wild horses sometimes roam, though today the field is empty. But you imagine them, manes tangled by the wind, moving in slow rhythm through golden grass and fading light. Let that image rest with you. Let it carry you deeper into quiet. A single crow calls in the distance, low, brief, then gone. And for a moment, you hear nothing else. Only the soft turn of the wheels, the whisper of the wind, the low breath of the land itself. This is a place where noise disappears, where the past and future grow still, where you just are. And it's enough. You pass a weathered fence half lost in the grass, its wood gray and leaning, its posts spaced like fading memories. Beyond it, an old barn stands, roof rusted, walls sun-bleached, its shadow longer than the building itself. A place left behind, but not forgotten. The train doesn't stop. It doesn't need to. It simply carries you through the moment and onward. You're moving now through low hills covered in sage and stone. Occasional trees mark the horizon, but mostly the land is open, a painter's canvas washed in earth tones and sky. You watch the clouds shift above, thin streaks like silk pulled across the blue. They move slowly, like thoughts, like dreams just beginning to fade. The air feels warmer now, not hot, just held, wrapped in gold. Let yourself be wrapped too. Let this warmth ease the spaces between your thoughts. Ahead, the terrain rises gently. You see the shadow of a distant mountain brushing the edge of the sky, and below it, a long stretch of dry meadow lined with poplars and low fences disappears into the light. You pass over a narrow wooden bridge spanning a dry creek bed, only a few smooth stones, and a forgotten tire resting in the dust below. Still, there is beauty in the way the light catches the shape of the rails, in the hush that follows the echo of your passing. You pass a grove of trembling aspens, each leaf a coin turning slowly in the breeze. Their sound is like distant water, or whispers in a language you somehow understand. Breathe in. Let them speak to you, not in words, but in feeling, in knowing. And then the trees fall away again, and the land rolls on. Far off, a small herd of cattle grazes along the base of a hill, still, content, belonging completely to the moment. Just like you. You've come far from the coast now, from the moss and mountain and river, and yet you carry it all with you. Each shift in the land, each breath of air, each turn of the rail has shaped the rhythm of this moment, this place, this peace. You round another gentle bend, and the sun, still high but soft, pours across your lap through the wide window. Let it rest there. Let it hold you. Let it remind you that nothing is required, nothing must be done. You are already here, carried, held, and whole. The land begins to soften again. You feel it in the light. Warmer now, low and amber, as if the sun has settled into its rhythm and no longer needs to prove itself. The hills roll gently around you, coated in pine and aspen, where the leaves still flicker gold against deep green. You're approaching Quesnel, though you wouldn't know it from the quiet. There's no noise, no rush, just the train gliding along a ribbon of steel through fields that feel like they've been here forever. The scent changes too. The dry air of the Chilcotin gives way to something richer, sweeter. A trace of river, a hint of damp pine needles warming in the sun. Outside your window, the forest deepens. But it's a welcoming kind of dense, like a story waiting to be told. You pass through a thicket of birch trees, their white trunks glowing softly, their golden leaves dancing with every quiet rush of wind. Let yourself dance too, not with effort, but with ease. Let your thoughts move like those leaves. Lift, turn, and drift away. The train curves beside a narrow stream, its water smooth and shallow, lined with tall grass and old fence posts, sinking slowly into the earth. A single log lies half submerged beneath a gathering of reeds, its bark long worn away by water and time. You watch a ripple travel the surface, then vanish into stillness. There's something about this part of the journey that feels like remembering, not a memory of a place, but a feeling of being held, of coming home to something you didn't know you missed. You pass a field of long, uncut hay, pale gold under the sun, slightly bowed by the breeze. In the distance, an old red barn stands beside a weathered silo. No movement, no sound, just the presence of time, resting easy on the land. Let yourself rest just like that. Let everything you've carried settle into the soil behind you. Let go. The trees open up again, revealing a gentle bend in the Fraser River, its surface calm and wide, glinting faintly with the last of the morning's light. The river moves slowly here, not from weakness, but from wisdom. It knows how to flow without resistance. It knows how to wait. You follow it for a while as it threads between soft hills, dips behind groves of pine, then reappears again, always close, always steady. You pass over a narrow trestle bridge where the water flows beneath you. For a moment, you are suspended between the quiet of the land and the echo of something deeper. Then you move on. A raven lifts from a fence post, its wings wide and slow, casting a shadow across the dry grass before vanishing into the trees. The sound it leaves behind is not silence, but a kind of hush that wraps around you like a soft shawl. The forest rises again. Fir, cedar, spruce, some towering, some young. Their needles glisten faintly in the light. The sun flickers through them, creating patterns on the train walls, moving light like breath turned into gold. Close your eyes. Let that light fall across your skin. Let it wash everything clean. No need to hold on. No need to chase. You are already here. The train curves slowly along the edge of a shallow valley where the land feels hushed and the trees lean toward one another like old friends. You pass a clearing where wildflowers have gone to seed, soft tufts of white caught in the grass, swaying just enough to catch your eye. You don't need to know their names. You only need to know they are part of this moment, just like you. Far ahead, the mountains rise again, low and wide, blue in the distance with just a dusting of snow along their crowns. They wait without speaking. They guide without pushing. Let them be your anchor. Let them hold your stillness. You pass a farmhouse set back from the rails, its porch draped in shadow, a single chair facing the track. For a breath, you imagine sitting there, watching the train pass, feeling the hum of the world move through your feet, your chest, your mind, and then the moment is gone. The train moves on, sliding through the light, through the hush, through the remembering. A low fog hangs over a distant field, caught between sun and shadow, rising just enough to make everything seem half imagined. You watch it slowly burn away, lifted by warmth, carried off by the breeze, and you let your worries go with it. The trees return, taller now, more certain. They line both sides of the track, a corridor of calm. Sunlight threads between their trunks, casting golden beams that feel almost solid, like they could catch you if you fell. but you won't fall. You are held by rhythm, by breath, by earth. The land flattens again just slightly, a wide field opening before you, with distant horses grazing in the far corner. Their shapes are small, but still, the kind of still that only comes from knowing you're exactly where you're meant to be. And so are you. The light begins to shift, growing softer, rounder, as the sun begins its slow descent behind the hills. But for now, there is only this: the quiet curve of the rail, the whisper of the wind, the hush of memory and moss and pine and gold, and the knowing that you are part of all of it. The light begins to tilt, not gone, but softer now, slipping sideways across the land, casting long shadows that stretch quietly through the trees. You've left the hills of Quesnel behind, and now the train moves steadily northward, toward Prince George, where the air grows cooler and the forests close in around you like a soft hush at the end of a long day. The landscape darkens, not with storm, but with depth. Tall pines gather around the tracks, standing shoulder to shoulder, their trunks lit gold on one side by the last edge of afternoon. Between them, slivers of sky, still blue but fading. Let yourself fade too, not away, but inward, toward stillness, toward peace. Outside your window, the forest floor is thick with needles and shadow. Every so often, a shaft of light cuts through, catching on a fern, a mossy stump, a cluster of orange mushrooms hidden in the quiet. The train hums low, a gentle pulse beneath your feet. It doesn't disturb the silence. It joins it. It becomes part of the hush. You pass over a small bridge where a stream flows beneath you, barely moving, its surface scattered with fallen leaves and the faintest flicker of light. The reflection of the trees is nearly perfect in the water. Upside down trunks, branches tangled in stillness. You watch it slip beneath you and feel something inside you do the same. Let it go. Whatever you carried, whatever came before, let it drift like light on water. The forest deepens again. The trees grow thicker, closer. The light dims to gold, then amber, then soft gray-green. You pass a clearing, an open field with wild grass knee-high and glowing faintly under the sky. At the far edge, a deer stands, still, alert, wrapped in silence. It watches as the train passes, then turns and disappears into the trees. A few moments later, you round a bend, and a lake opens before you. Still, wide, fringed with reeds and willow. The train curves along its edge, close enough to see the ripples, where a breeze has stirred the surface. Beyond the lake, hills rise slowly, dusty blue, fading at the edges. Everything here feels softened, even time. Let it soften you too. Let the hard corners fall away. There's no need to think, no need to name, just observe, just breathe. The sun is sinking now, low behind the ridgeline. Its final light glows in the tops of the trees, a crown of gold above a body of shadow. You pass a cluster of birches, their white bark luminous in the half-light. They catch the last color of the day and hold it just a little longer. As you watch them vanish behind you, the forest begins to change again, quieter, cooler. The breeze through the trees sounds like a whisper in your ear. Not words, but comfort. Something that says, "You're safe now. You're allowed to rest." Let those words echo in the quiet parts of you. The train drifts past an old logging road, overgrown at the edges, its tracks long faded. There are no vehicles, no noise, only memory, and the hum of your journey moving gently forward. You pass over another bridge, this time a wider one, where the Nechako River flows slow and wide beneath you. Its surface mirrors the twilight, dusky purple and soft silver, split only by the slow drift of water and the silhouette of a fallen branch carried along without resistance. Let your thoughts float like that, not pulled, not pushed, just carried. The approach to Prince George is subtle. The trees don't thin, the land doesn't shout. It simply unfolds, field to forest, hill to hollow, everything connected by quiet transitions. You pass a small cluster of lights in the distance, a few cabins perhaps, half hidden in the trees. Their windows glow softly with a warmth that feels like being remembered. And still, the train moves gently. Each turn of the wheel feels like a lullaby. Each moment, an invitation to go deeper, deeper into calm, deeper into stillness. Outside, the sky is turning. Not dark yet, but close. The blue deepens. A few stars appear, barely there, like thoughts that arrive and dissolve again before they take shape. You pass through a grove of spruce where the shadows feel thick, but not heavy. Just cool, just quiet. You imagine the animals of this place. Foxes, owls, small deer, beginning to stir, but they keep their distance. You are only passing through, a silent guest in a world that moves slowly and lives by moonlight. The land falls away slightly to the west, and for a breath you can see it all. Trees, river, ridge, sky. One soft exhale held between day and night. Let this be your exhale. Let this be the breath that carries you inward. The lights of Prince George begin to flicker into view now, tiny and far away, dots of amber scattered across the rising dark. But still, the land remains quiet, still wrapped in trees, still wrapped in hush, and you remain wrapped too, by rhythm, by shadow, by the lull of a train moving through twilight into the stillness of evening. The train hums softly, settling into the rhythm of twilight. Behind you, the lights of Prince George have faded, and the forest has closed around the rails once more, deep, dark, and endless. You're heading into the quiet now, the deep quiet, where the trees stretch tall and the sky begins to fill with stars. The last light of the day lingers at the horizon, a thin band of gold brushing the tops of distant hills, while above, the sky melts into violet, then blue, then a velvet kind of black that carries no weight at all. You pass through a corridor of pine, the trees packed tight, their shapes dark silhouettes against the last shimmer of dusk. There is no sound but the soft roll of wheels and the whisper of wind brushing past the window. The forest floor is nearly invisible now, but the trunks shine faintly in the reflected starlight. A quiet glow, like the memory of day hanging on just a little longer. A small fox darts across the track far ahead, a flash of pale fur, gone as quickly as it came. The world doesn't need to show itself. It just needs to be. And you don't need to name anything. You only need to feel the stillness settling in. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath slow. There is nothing to hold up here. Only the sky. Only yourself. The trees open slightly, and to your right, you glimpse the Bulkley River, dark and smooth, its surface catching the stars in scattered fragments. It flows quietly through the land, like thought without language, like peace in motion. You follow it for a while, its path winding beside the rails, always just within reach. You imagine dipping your hand into its cool silence and letting everything unwanted drift away downstream. You pass a low ridge where the forest gives way to a wide sweep of meadow. Soft grass brushed in moonlight, silver gray and shifting in the faintest breeze. A single barn stands at the far edge, its roof angled, its walls weathered smooth by years of sun and snow and silence. It feels like a dream you almost remember, a place from before thought, before time. Let yourself return to that place, not backwards, but inward. A clearing comes into view, small cabins, no lights, just outlines against the dark. Smoke curls gently from a chimney, barely visible in the night. Somewhere inside, a fire crackles. Someone sleeps, and the world keeps turning in perfect stillness. You don't need a fire here, only the hush, only the motion that rocks you deeper into rest. The stars are brighter now, bold and sharp in the black above. You spot Cassiopeia near the ridge and the tail of the Big Dipper hanging low over the trees. The sky feels vast but not empty, more like a blanket, soft, endless, and full of quiet promise. Let it wrap around you. Let it hold what you no longer need to carry. You pass over a small bridge, the river beneath you a dark ribbon of motion, its voice lost to the stillness. Farther ahead, a mountain looms to the west, its shape vast and silent, its peak hidden in shadow. You don't need to see its summit. Its presence is enough, solid, steady, unmoving. You draw strength from that, not from knowing, but from being near it. You're nearing Smithers now, but there's no sign of arrival, no rush, no change in pace. Just a long valley stretched beneath the stars, dotted with cedar, fir, and the soft outlines of distant ridges resting beneath the northern sky. The train dips slightly, curving along the riverbank, where the water pools wide into a mirror of the sky. For a breath you feel suspended between earth and stars, between motion and stillness, between the day you've left and the night that's arrived. There is nowhere to go now, nowhere to be. Only here, only this moment. Let yourself float in it. Let your breath match the rhythm of the moving wheels, the turning world, the drifting stars. You pass another grove, tall spruces, their limbs heavy with shadow, each one like a dark column rooted deep in silence. And between them, the light of the moon finally breaks through. Not bright, just enough. A pale silver brushing the tops of the trees, turning their edges soft and dreamlike. It falls across your lap through the window, cool and calm, a quiet blessing. You watch it flicker as the train moves, like candlelight reflected in water. The hills rise again, not high, just enough to hold the edges of the sky, and the stars settle in for the night, no longer fading, no longer shifting, just there, just present, just still, like you. The land is quiet now, the forest still, the rails smooth beneath you, and all that's left is breath, is peace, is this moment, held in the night, carried by the rails, cradled by the sky. The night has begun to loosen, softly, quietly. Somewhere in the east, the light is rising, not yet visible, but felt. The air has changed. You can sense the nearness of water, the coolness of the coast, the softness of mist curling through the trees. The train moves gently now, its rhythm slow and thoughtful, as though it too is reluctant to let go of the night. You're approaching Prince Rupert, the final stretch of the journey. But there is no rush, no end to reach, only a deepening calm as the world begins to wake. Outside your window, fog hangs low across the land, a veil of silver that softens every shape. Trees appear as shadows, then vanish again. Hills rise and dissolve into the hush. You feel suspended between night and morning, between arrival and memory. Let yourself float there. Let this moment stretch as long as it needs. The train curves along a forested ridge. Tall cedars and firs line the track, their trunks dark with dew, their branches heavy with moss. Drops of water cling to each needle, catching the faintest glimmer of the coming day. You watch them slip and fall, slow, silent drops that vanish into the undergrowth without a sound. Let your breath do the same. Drop, settle, disappear into the stillness. A distant call of a loon echoes once from somewhere beyond the trees. Not loud, just enough to remind you you're not alone. The world is stirring, but softly, respectfully. You pass over a narrow stream, its surface silver with mist, its flow hidden beneath a low rise of stone and fern. You glimpse the curve of it just once, then it's gone again, vanished into the green, like a thought you no longer need. Let it go. The forest opens briefly to your left, and there, the ocean, still and dark, stretched wide under the fading night sky, a mirror of gray and violet, unbroken but for a single ripple from a bird's wing gliding low over the surface. You feel your breath catch, not from surprise, but from recognition. This is the edge of things, and yet it feels like a beginning. Let that feeling settle in your chest. Let it become part of your stillness. The train follows the coast now, curving gently beside the water, where rocks rise from the shoreline and thin pines cling to the cliffs. The fog lifts slightly, and you see islands in the distance, small forested humps floating in the sea. The sun is still low, hidden, but its light begins to touch the sky, a soft wash of lavender and rose spreading across the clouds. The whole world seems to glow from the inside out, and within you something glows too, a warmth, a peace, a knowing. You pass a lone fishing boat, its light dim against the dawn. It sits still on the water, as if waiting, as if watching. You don't need to know its purpose. Its presence is enough, like yours. You round a bend and the forest returns, taller now, older. The trees lean in close, their roots wrapped in moss, their trunks streaked with rain. A low mist winds between them, like breath between ribs, quiet, essential, unseen. You pass a wooden footbridge, half lost in fern and shadow. No one crosses, no footsteps echo, only the memory of movement. And then the train rises gently along the final ridge. The sky opens, and the first light breaks across the horizon. It doesn't burst, it doesn't blaze. It arrives like a hand resting on your shoulder, warm, steady, familiar. The clouds glow gold at the edges. The tops of the trees light up one by one. You can see the shapes of the mountains now, rising faintly behind the mist, soft blue silhouettes draped in light. And below them, the sea shimmers, a breath held just before the exhale. Let yourself exhale too. Let it be full. Let it be final. Not an ending, but a settling. The train begins to slow now. Not suddenly, just gently. The tracks curve inland once more, past driftwood scattered on the beach, past gulls lifting into the dawn, past a weathered boathouse leaning into the wind, and then a clearing, the edge of Prince Rupert. Small lights flicker beneath the trees. A few rooftops gleam with dew, but even here there is no noise, no break in the hush. The morning holds. The journey continues, not on rails now, but within you. You carry the forest, the river, the stars, the mist, the breath, all of it, settled gently in the stillest part of you. You have arrived, but you are still moving, softly, quietly, beautifully.